Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. I hope everyone is doing well. Good to see you, Faithy Lou. Good to see you, Brayherd Lord. I had a good, long, restful weekend. I hope everyone else had a good, restful Labor Day weekend. I wound up going up to Lake George, to our house up there. Went to the Scottish Highland Games, wore my kilt. Had a lot of fun with it. Now we're back. We're back, and a new time! Look at this, check it out. New stream time, who dis? But before we get started, Brayherd Lord, I see you have redeemed a father joke, and I have a good one. I have a good father joke lined up. Did I throw an X? No, Jack just wanted a picture by the sign for some reason. Yeah. Anyway, Brayherd, your father joke. So recently I had to sue an airline. I lost my case. What, total silence in chat? Come on, that was a first-class joke. Anyway, we're going to dive back into 5 Guardians of David. I got this working. I did the mission all over again for the 3rd time. I wasn't listening. That's fair. Yeah, I did the mission for the 3rd time, and I was right. It was glitching out the other time, because this time whenever I died, it was like, your mission's not over, just like it does every other time. So now we're into Philistia.
David presented his final plan for the Philistine campaign. Now that the city of Azekah was demolished by the Five, it was time to strike at the heart of the serpent, the Philistine capital city of Gath.
Once Gath is taken, the rest of the Philistine cities will fall in line. We will control the coastal highway, cutting off supplies to the rest of Philistia.
I have news from our spies in Gath. Their slums are full of the impoverished who are unable to fight. They will be slaughtered once the battle commences.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy.
Okay, I appreciate you, on the one hand, quoting the Beatitudes, because the Beatitudes are wonderful. A little weird and anachronistic for you to be citing it at that time.
And there is still the matter of the Israelite slaves held by their Philistine masters.
Of course. We will enter the city in secret. Abishai, you said your spies could get a small force inside, undetected, did you not? We shall act as heralds of war. We will go to their poor and infirm and tell them to flee the city. Instruct your spies to have the Israelites...
Hey, Gale, thank you for the 21-month resub. My goodness, shuffle.
I am going to kill him!
Time to shine.
Okay. Time to relearn all the buttons. When I was redoing the mission, I spent it all playing as Shema, the green guy. So I could learn his abilities. He has some pretty powerful AoEs, actually. Does this game have any WoW-like quests? Maybe something like kill 100 Philistines and collect an item that they drop? No, I think that's in the DLC. The get a wife, I mean get a life DLC.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Hey, Catholic Brit, good to see you.
Let's go.
Dun, 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 dun. My weekend was good. It's on Twitch chat. Telling the others in chat, I went up to Lake George. Having a better day than that Philistine is, I tell you that. Wait, is that actually DLC? That's one of the things that I would expect them to skip over, avoid talking about in any detail than necessary. I don't think this game has DLC. Actually, that's not true. I know it does because it came with it on Steam, but I don't remember, like, what it is. Apparently, I have activated a side quest to defile the Dagon statues. I was just doing that because it's fun. The other thing I'd expect to not be talked about is the Bathsheba situation. Yeah, we'll see how that goes when we get there. Rotada.
Halt! Where do you think you're going, Israelite dogs?
Watch what you say, Philistine. You stand before King David and his guardians.
I say what I please.
Ich bin
You are
Benob.
no king to me, only an upstart with no true claim of leadership. As for your guardians, they have failed, for they have led you to your death. Men, take care of these Israelite scum and their mongrel king.
He's so tall. It was covered up entirely by his text box. Anyway, Rotada, today is the day of St. Gregory the Great. Not Gregory the okay, not Gregory the mediocre, Gregory the Great. Pope of the 6th century. Really important in terms of like theological and liturgical development. You may have heard of a little thing called Gregorian chant. That's him. That's the same. He's great. Yeah. But the thing I appreciate about him is he spent the first year of his papacy being kind of a little whiny and just like constantly writing about how much he wishes he could just be a monk again and, you know, have a life undisturbed in prayer. And he eventually gets over that and gets to work and does some really good stuff in terms of like administration as well, like helping take care of the city in the time of economic need. But I appreciate that he can still go on to become the Great with a moment of not a great start, you know. Oh right, I'm tired. It's 1 p.m. It means it's caffeine time. Caffeine o'clock. I think you should have a mochaccino frappo macchiato extra. Yeah, he developed the Divine Liturgy of Pre-Sanctified Gifts that's still in use in the East. But, you know, I appreciate the story of someone who can... That's not marking a door, that's just opening it. Anyway. You know, who can go from not the best to, yeah, still doing better. God works with us. He meets us where we are. He listens to our whining sometimes. I have Cactus Lime Gamer Fuel. Do you have a G-Subs Gamer Cup for that? So much bread. I just use a glass bottle and my mighty muscles to shake it.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
I was trying to think the last time I had something caffeinated. That would be yesterday. I had a can of Coke before we started driving. Uh-oh. Thank you, Nanakit, for the 300 bits. Let me finish cleaning up these Philistines. Sour pickle, sour pickle. Sour pickle is no more. However, I did order more of the Barnett Mega Sours. You know, I really should... I have a Steam Deck. I should really make this a button. I'm just too lazy to remember how. Answer is Pulparindo! Golf clap. Oh, I grabbed the extra picante. The real struggle is getting the package open. Yep. Yep, that's spicy. My chair's wheels are stuck.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
I wish your allies would use their abilities more.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Because if you could use all of them, we have some pretty powerful things going. Burkadoo, why can a priest touch a Luna barehanded but not the monstrance? Luna is more important since it comes in contact. So actually, the Humoral Veil actually just comes about from a practical need originally. That was like something you wear to avoid staining, because it's like, okay, it's important that this monstrance look nice, so how do we prevent it from staining? Get a cloth to hold it, and it evolves into a theological symbol. And it's best understood at the moment of benediction, when the priest or deacon is holding the monstrance and gives a blessing with it, that by holding it in the cloth, in the humoral veil, ooh, spicy, it symbolizes that it's not the priest giving the blessing, it's Christ in the Eucharist that's giving the blessing, because it creates that barrier and that level of separation. So it's not about worthiness or holiness in terms of like touching, not touching. It's symbolic more of who's giving the action. I would not put it that way, Nanakit, but you're not wrong.
your end, Israelites. You will not leave this city alive.
Survive the ambush? Is it really an ambush if I'm in the middle of their town?
I can't do that.
Look how tall he is. Nanakit has a way with words.
I can't do that.
Yes? That is a way to describe
Can't
it.
do that.
What in the name of Diablo am I looking at? Diablo, but set in ancient Israel. Spicy candy in the throat. Oh, it burns. Does this game have a secret cow level? I cannot activate. I was actually wondering that myself. But I could not seem to activate any sort of
Can't do
text
that.
box input method.
Some speculate Goliath and 4 other giants were brothers or close relatives, and that David's 5 smooth stones represented the future deaths of these 5 giants.
I have literally never heard that, but that's kind of cool. It's just to make Vin Diesel 5'8" look the same as The Rock 6'2". Yeah, it's
Can't do that.
surprisingly decent.
Can't do that.
You're welcome, Britt.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Gonna switch over here. No, you made me waste my bees. Eat bees! Oh yeah, I unlocked that heavy attack for him. He flings fire in circles. Hey, Mel.
I can't do that.
But yeah, I'm actually glad that I got this game working again, because I want to see it through. I want to keep playing it for the rest of the month. Out of bees! Not the bees! It's hard to do any voice from like the
You are
back of my
fools to
throat.
Continue. Persistent fools.
Because of the spiciness, my throat hurts, and so it hurts to. Oh. Who weaponized the bees? He did. Behold the bees, and they're great. They distract everyone. One speedrun 5 years ago, American under the name Seraphim. Well, that tracks.
Thanks to you, I am now free. I and others like me have suffered greatly at the hands of these vile slave masters. If we are truly to be free, we need to put an end to the evil ways of these men. The rich men ahead are as guilty as the slave masters. Tax collectors, money changers. They are all wicked at heart.
So she just appointed herself as judge and jury and prosecutor and executioner and what are you no, I'm trying to talk to her. Stop. Quit making the shop move. No. Shop, please. Don't run away.
How are you?
I'm fine now that I caught you. Up to you. Oh my goodness. Seraphim is also the #1 runner for KOTOR, any percent, no glitchless. That's fascinating. That is a combination. Where's my bowman? Oh, he can't even use that yet because he's not at the right level. Yeah, we'll give you this club. KOTOR glitchless is an achievement. You're not wrong. Oh, I'm hanging on to this shield. That shield's really good. Just have to wait a level?
What can I do for you?
Saw anything that's common. We'll worry about other stuff later. Who do I need to donate all this food to? You.
Oh, so kind of you.
Also a prolific runner of humongous entertainment games. Is this person secretly just me in another life?
My thanks.
Is that what's going on here? Okay, sorry, I missed your question there, Britt. Question starts on the 15th, but I want a confirmation that a sentence is theologically correct. These reflections go to almost... Yeah. Yep. I can give it a look and do my best in the situation that I am in. I used to give students a hard time that for the big student retreat, I'd go and listen to their talks being practiced, and I'd have a yellow card with heresy written on it. And they were just so afraid that I'd throw it at some point. 3 hours, 20 minutes for this game, dang. We have spent like twice that so far, and we're not even halfway through. But I've been watching all the cutscenes. I wonder who he mains out of the 5 characters, because you can really only control one at a time. Or if they're like really good at switching between them.
I can't do that.
Spices.
By defeating the Philistines, David protected his flanks from the west and southwest, controlled ports on the Mediterranean Sea, and controlled the lucrative Via Maris trade route.
I have a feeling he didn't call it the Via Maris trade route, given that that is a Latin name, but I could be wrong. How did you escape my flames? Swaps characters. Okay. I really should probably just do that more myself. I bet they also use the auto-equip feature. So there is a setting where it will just automatically equip new armor that you pick up. And I would hope that it sort of like filters it to what is best. But I've never tried it.
I will not allow you to take my city, Israelite dogs.
Hey, we leveled up. We can use the new things. Where are you? Get this shield on. Increase your damage there. What are you doing over here in the corner? Fight that lieutenant.
Can't do that.
Ooh, 1354. That's pretty powerful. Don't mind me, allies. Just, I'm shopping for armor. It's fine. All right. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, Christ's crucifixion, death, and resurrection are not distant. They occur at every mass, and we are united. I would not say they occur at every mass. I know what you're trying to say, but that is like, it's not that they're repeated, but they are made, the historical reality is made present. So it's not that they occur, but we experience them at every mass. Here, I voted to have you start later so I wouldn't miss the start, and then work schedules me with a meeting. Oh no! But good to see you, Bad Roxy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, made present experience. Wait, there was a vote? There was. Tuck.
I will take your head, Mongrel King.
David! David, can you stand?
Oh, stand aside, you sad little Israelite. Today, I slay a king of dogs.
Stay your hand, Philistine. You do not know who stands before you.
An Israelite cur.
Sort of steps here, but I still wouldn't say they occur at every mass.
I am Abishai, son of Zeruiah. The Lord is with me.
Oh, sounds like we got a one-on-one. Where are you, Ishbi Benob? Whoa, why are you so big? What? Excuse me? He did what?
I can't.
Why does he have better ranged attacks than I do? This is so not fair. You're welcome. Get out of there. Get out of there. No. Eat some bread. Leave me alone. This is supposed to be a one-on-one between me and Ishbi Benob. Excuse me, I was reading chat. Ishbi Benob, that was very... that was not demure of you. It was not cutesy. What resource do they call special moves? Just stamina. What? Excuse me? He swung his sword and I was teleported to him? Perhaps Ishibob was not being demure because you were being more mindful of the battle. Hmm. Benaniah is kind of more mindful. Look at that! He just can teleport me to him. He doesn't even have a chain. Where are the bees who needed them? On the other character! That's the other ranged guy. Who would also help because he has a bear trap to stick people in place. You weren't even swinging in my direction and I got knocked down. This guy cheats. Thinks just because he's taller than everyone else, he can do whatever he wants. These hitboxes are a nightmare. They're a little suspect sometimes. Because, like, sometimes you can get stuck on objects in weird ways. Apparently the strategy is get him stuck behind a pillar. Meep support! Meep is there for emotional support more than anything else.
I can't. I can't.
Ow.
I can't.
Get him stuck on level geometry. Time for cheese. No, they didn't really have. Oh, well, I guess they would have had like goat cheese. Haha, get stuck on your statue of your fake god. After writing another reflection, place one of the priests. Well, I love writing it. Set of readings there, just so good for priests to take reflection on. That's fair, but we all have different perspectives that all serve, and
I can't.
You never know who your words might touch. Yow. How many ability points? Oh, should be upping some of these, eh? Spread shot, arrow spin. Ow. Excuse me, Ishibob. I was just upgrading. How do you have this much? Like, I get that you need to have some reach because you're fighting a reached,
I can't.
ranged character, but still. That's true. Nanaket brings up a good point. All baptized are priests in their own right.
I can't.
Plus, you know, talk about what priesthood means to you as a layperson. Like, even the ministerial ordained priesthood, like, that can be a valid reflection.
I can't. I can't. I can't.
I think you'll find that you can.
I can't. I can't.
Ow.
I can't. I can't.
Thank goodness I have this fire arrow to do some sustained damage to him.
I can't.
Hey, we did it. I got something labeled Pillar of Fire. Ishbanab's Great Kopesh, 1400 damage. Who can use that? You can use that. Give that to you. Do that bow. Yeah, that's a really good shawl, actually. Yeah, Pillar of Fire. Pillar of Fire rises up, engulfing any enemies in Inferno. What? Yeah, that's better. Nah, he's got a legendary sword. He's good. Why is he F3 now? Why did everyone get rearranged? Do you know what it means when Bible footnotes say this Q saying who or what is Q? Ah, yes. Yeah, as Step Zero says, Q so comes from the German word quell, meaning source. And it's a theorized
Greetings, husband.
existence
Greetings, guardians.
of where Matthew
With the
and Luke
Philistines
draw some
defeated,
extra details
I
from
believe David's next
that
target
Mark
may
doesn't
be the
use
kingdom of
in terms of
Moab.
the synoptics.
What their evil king did to his poor family. It is so sad.
"43 questions. It's a lot of questions. Okay, so I've done that one, I guess. Act 2, yeah. So Act 5, I guess, yes, we just finished Act 4, so. That's one thing I don't like about the level select is there's like...
Ah, the French.
They're just like, haha, here, have a bunch of things.
The City of David, named after the king who united the kingdoms of Israel and Judah. A city of thousands, ruled by God's anointed. The king was not in his capital this day. He was away in Gath, busy managing the surrender of the land known as Philistia. The previous king Saul had lost his life to those same Philistines because he had rejected the word of the Lord and not annihilated the Amalekites. The last time David and his 5 guardians had met the Amalekites, 400 of them had escaped on camelback. They have returned.
That was... They have returned. Whoa. Okay, everyone's back in their appropriate positions now. I want to see if this guy can get a better spear. His current spear does give him quite a bit of plus max damage. Well, I think I'll give him this one. There's a VR spin-off? I didn't know. I knew there was a sequel. Something... Guardians of Canaan. I'm now deeply intrigued by this VR spin-off. Champions of Canaan is a VR game. Wow, okay, that's a bold choice. Oh, that's a lot of armor. Look at that. 41 compared to 123. Mixed to positive reviews. That tracks.
You must protect my men so they can destroy the bridge.
But I want the treasure chest. It's kind of buggy. Really? The studio that made this? Wherein... Okay, so if you get knocked down as a hero in like a one-on-one combat with a boss, the game will go, your mission is not over, and you just respawn and you keep fighting them.
Can't do that. I can't do that.
On the previous mission, not the one I just completed, but the one before that, last time, we played through it 3 times, and I got to the boss. And every time I got knocked down, the game just glitched out. And I had to restart the whole level.
Thank you for the assistance. I guess I have 2 bridges to fix now.
Whatever work you do, work heartily and work for the Lord, and you shall receive his blessing.
I did get knocked down, and I got up again, but the problem is, they really tried to keep me down.
Does he always talk like this?
You have no idea.
The Amalekites have set up
Okay,
a camp
cool, we got
on the
meta
other
there.
side of the ravine. This road will lead you to it. Go with God.
Thank you, my friend.
No, shut up. My home schmoogle heard something and was like, I should get in on this action. Is this just max level? Yeah, I'm not at that level yet. Well. VR in your butt the whole time. There's a couple of VR games designed more for being seated. Keep Talking, No One Explodes. Demio.
Can't do that.
Oh, what was the other one that I was thinking of? Keep Talking. No. I Expect You to Die, which is a really fun game, by the way, or series, really.
At Ziklag, David completely destroyed the Amalekite army, with the exception of 400 young men who fled on camels.
Oh, cool.
Lord,
I'm trying to do some interactions. Ooh, new stash item.
Thank you, gentlemen.
That's the
This
armor
will
and the
go
weapons.
to
I don't
a
want to
good
quite do that
cause.
yet. Well, let's just take a quick peek at folks. That's a really good shawl. Why can he not use it? There's no level rating. That's weird. Because, like, this one you'll see it says cannot equip or level restriction. This one's just, now you can't use it. I think I can sell most of this stuff. Oh, that's a really good sling. That's a really good sling, too. I should hang on to that one.
It's good to see
I'll sell some of the more... I'll sell anything that's common and uncommon at this time. Hey, Visual Eminem. Is there a tradition of mysticism and Catholicism, like numerology or Kabbalah-esque things? So there's a lot of mysticism in the Catholic Church. Not necessarily the same like numerology and Kabbalah, but there is a lot of, especially in the early church in the medieval era, there's a lot of mystical writings and reflections. The spirituality of the Carmelites, I would say, is very mystical.
I can't do that.
Some of my personal favorite mystics, Hildegard von Bingen. Who else? Oh, Ephraim the Syrian, all of his writings. You're welcome. Also good to see you.
David knew this area well from his childhood as a shepherd. The Kidron Valley is located about 5 miles from his home in Bethlehem.
Well, that's a bold assumption. He probably knew it, but you can't say for sure. People grow up 5 miles from things all the time and don't know about their existence.
The Kidron Valley provided access to the Hinnom Valley and the Tyropian Valley, which also protected the city of David.
Union with Christ in the Eucharist is pretty mystical, yeah. And there are many mystical reflections on that. Yeah, Eucharist is communion, is the body and blood of Christ. Yeah. Burn the tents. Break down the idols. Get stuck on a cow. Yeah, the Paschal mystery is by its very nature mystical, but I think Visual M&M was more looking for like mystical practices. Are there restrictions on what kind of bread can be used? Yeah, so in the Roman Church, to be specific, in the Western Church, it's unleavened bread made of pure flour. So just flour and water. In the East, they'll actually use a recipe with leavened bread. And then typically the wine is to be pure grape wine. So, you know, it can't be like raspberry wine. But it is theoretically possible to make your own communion bread. It does have to be wheat flour. So it can't be like corn flour.
Having secured the city of David from the Amalekite incursion, King David ordered his men to find and destroy the 400 camel riders who had escaped him at Ziklag. The Amalekites were discovered by the mighty warrior Ahiam the Hararite. He found them in the far south, just beyond the lands of Judah. David
tortilla
dispatched
chips
the
can't be
5
taken.
to the Amalekites. They traveled 20 days in order to meet with Ahiam.
Greetings, Guardians.
Greetings, Ahiam. It's been too long since we last met.
David has sent the 5. His intentions must be grave
See
in this
Bear
matter.
Fox.
We come to complete the task that King Saul never finished.
For the Lord had commanded Saul to go
Your previous...
attack the
well,
Amalekites
I
and
mean, it's a
totally
non-denom
destroy
church.
all that
Don't think they have to follow the
belongs
rules.
to them. Do not spare them.
Celiac.
Put
Yeah,
them
well,
to death.
even the hosts used for people with gluten intolerances have to have at least a there's some phrasing in it that I forget exactly how it is, but it's like a modicum or a tiny amount of flour. In dire circumstances, Ecclesia Suplat, and the Lord knows one's intentions, but you know what? I'm gonna use a different character for a bit. No. You've got the Kopesh. Let's do shield guy. They distribute just the wine? That's fascinating. Know why some serve the bread on its own and why some put it in the wine? Yeah, so that's a difference east and west called intinction. So typically in the east they'll serve it by putting the pieces of the consecrated host into the consecrated wine.
I can't do that.
And using a spoon actually to distribute it. In the Maronite Church, they'll use flat wafers like the Catholic Church does, but they'll dip it in. It's for the celiacs. Oh, okay. I get what you mean. I thought you were just saying like in general that's their practice. It's like it's feasible, I guess. Yeah, so typically in the Melkite Church, rather than like, so a lot of the Byzantine tradition, they'll make like little pieces like yay big. In a lot of Melkite churches, they'll like make chunks about yay big and about yay thick, and like the priest will just dip it into the precious blood and put it in your mouth. So yeah, it's just different. Different ways of doing it. Sort of different spiritualities and histories of how it developed. Maybe I should show off the VR game at some point on stream, because my new rig should talk to my headset better. So I would be able to do that.
I can't do that.
Stupid alchemists being so rude, blowing us up with fire? I'll show you. They knocked out almost everyone there. Is there like a Catholic supply chain that supplies bread and wine? Yeah, actually, there are different companies that do that, that you can order from. It's only like $4. Well, there you go. But yeah, some places I've served in some dioceses where they will have they just own a vineyard. This is mostly in California, mind you, but like they'll be able to provide their own wine to all the churches. Local winery in Houston used to do it. That's awesome. I was looking at this game on Steam. I saw they also had a VR game. Looks pretty rough. I mean, yeah. They're a small little studio. But Bad Roxy has redeemed a father joke. Don't worry, Bad Roxy. I didn't forget you. How do you know the ocean is friendly? It waves. No, I'm stuck. You're back just in time. There you go. See? Aren't you happy? That butt just exploded. Oh, okay. It's because they were shooting at me and missed. Those alchemists. When they're done for, they're like, but what if we exploded? I remember that one because the surgeon told me while playing Bender as a kid. Well, there you go. Bad jokes will put kids at ease, I guess. I didn't have a great grasp on English, but I understood that one. There you go. That's actually a pretty good grasp of English to understand a pun like that. Exploding shackles! I mean, if I heard nothing but bad jokes, I'd want to be put under too. Looks awkwardly at my own chat.
Jashubim wielded his spear against 300 whom he killed at one time. The Bible does not say when or where he did this.
Jashubim, you say. Spear, you say.
Greetings again, my friends. I have
Sounds like
news
I'm
of
headed
the
for a
encampment up
boss.
ahead. It seems these Amalekites are prodigious raiders. There are many Israelite slaves held there.
We'll take care of them.
Oh, the Amalekite raiders, how banal. The priest told you that specifically, he tries to specifically use wine from the country whose immigrants founded the parish, but the bread is baked by parishioners, very common in Orthodox churches. Monastic communities also sell. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That's pretty awesome, though, to honor sort of the immigrant heritage of the church by getting wine from the home nation, as it were. Oop. Do I need to knock down all these Moloch statues? No. Do I enjoy knocking down all these Moloch statues? Yes. Oh good, I've invented the flashbang. Oh, dingo's fed kidneys. I missed a tent back here. I like that the mission objective is burn it all. Is Faith Elu still here? We found a mission objective for you. What if you wanted to fight for God's glory, but King David said, oh, whoa. Reading chat was a mistake. Couldn't see him at back. you weren't a Mod Sub-Zero, I'd think about purging you from chat.
I'm rather glad the Amalekites returned. It was getting boring in the city. I was beginning to miss the wilderness.
If Map were a
Yeah.
Pokemon, he'd be a
The
psychic
wilderness is
type.
great. Walking around in the hot sun, biting insects, no baths, no wine, no hot food. It's wonderful.
A game came out recently called Scroll to the Gun today. Is the first day I'm hearing about this. You're just now hearing about this? That seems totally on brand for you.
Watch out! Hold tight,
But
Joshua.
good to see a squirrel.
We'll try to find a way around this.
Yeah, it looks like
The
very
ruckus
much in the
caused
same
by
vein
the
as
rock
like
slide
Goat
attracted
Simulator.
The attention of the remaining Amalekite horde, along with their war leader, the vicious Ganubath.
I'm supposed to be afraid of someone called Ganubath?
Bring me the head of that Israelite Kur.
Okay, well, he looks scary, I'll say that much. Well, since it's just... Yeah, but let's check his armor. Oh my goodness, that is a huge step up in the armor department. Game just kind of does that sometimes, where it's just like, 100, 200. No, I like the current spear more, but I might give him this helmet. Okay, that helmet is terrifying. Like, yeah, going from 140 to 223. Can you just right click to equip or something? I'm sure I can. Let's find out. Oh, look, it works. I'm going to keep doing it my way. Why? Because I can. That's actually less armor. That is roughly the same amount. Thanks, I hate it. You're welcome. You went on a hard weeb tilt this weekend? Not one, but 2 animes. Well, animes are short. They're like 5 episodes long now, each. But yeah, now my armor is 1,000 something. It's 5 o'clock yet. I just want to be done with work. Sorry, I didn't do that voice because of you. I just felt like doing that voice. I saw CalMage's emote and it just made me think of that. I wanted it to be 5 o'clock because then that means I'm done streaming. I took no offense, lol. That's good. Weeping aggressively. Ah, good. I've done my job. Anything to keep you humble, Map Hack. Are you saying you don't like streaming? No, I like streaming. That's why I said I don't want it to be 5 o'clock, because then that means I'd have to be done. The points hole! Feed the points hole! Throw your points in the hole. Okay, I can Got another blessing in Jerusalem. Cool, cool. Anything? Well, yeah, many things. Oh, Step Zero is keeping me humble now. I just want to talk to the shopkeepers.
I can't do that.
Your generosity.
Actually,
is
you know what? We can donate
appreciated.
all the common stuff.
Thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. My thanks.
No, I'm trying to
Lord
attack these
bless
people.
I can't do that.
Hello there.
Geber, can I sell you some things? Would you be interested in anything blue? Dabba dee, dabba die. All right, let's do this. I couldn't hit the interact button. Oh. I haven't hit this in literal months. I was hoping to forget it exists. No, I don't want to reroll. Here's the bacon candy. This is the one anti-McPhee thing I can stomach. How on earth is bacon candy? Okay. This is not candied bacon. This is bacon-flavored candy. It is bad sugar. Like, it is just bad-tasting sugar, this brand. With hints of smokiness. And that's about it. Oh. It's like licking a charcoal pit that has been covered in sugar.
Amalekites and Philistines, David protected his flanks from the west and south, controlled ports on the Mediterranean, and controlled the lucrative Via Maris trade route.
Oh, it's so bad. Oh. Do I? No. Oh. Why do you have so much health?
I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that.
You were gonna be funny with bits.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't do that.
2 small coins.
I can't do that.
Oh. He summons rocks.
I can't do that.
I got teleported to the other side. Oh, good. He's immune to stun. He's immune to knockdown. This tastes like salty, smoky, not Rice Krispies, Frosted Flakes, but like knockoff Frosted Flakes. Candy with liquid smoke and fake ham. Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
If bacon candy is bad, would you ever try bacon ice cream with actual bacon? Potentially. I mean, there's chocolate covered bacon, which isn't terrible. It's gimmicky, but I want you to know my body is actively rejecting trying to swallow this. Like, I'm thinking about it, and my body is actively trying to prevent the consumption.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
I feel like I should pay for another No, this is the point. Like, it is a wheel of pain. Not everything on there is good.
I can't do that.
All of it's weird. Some of it I like. Some of it I can tolerate. This is the limit, though. This is the absolute word. I did have to get rid of all the other Andy McPhee stuff that I was sent because it was just so terrible.
I can't do that.
It literally was rancid.
I can't do that.
It seems really unwise to be calling in airstrikes on yourself. The sour ones are painful. Like, no joke. Like, I like them, but whoo! It's wise if you can tank the airstrikes like a champ. I guess. Oh.
Benaya! I am so glad to see you are unharmed. You were gone so long, my heart ached at your absence.
As did my own, my love. The Amalekites bother no Israelite again.
The Lord's work is done then. I am glad. I wonder what David has planned next. I know he still plans vengeance against the Moabites.
Chemical burns are no joke. It's true. I guess that means we just finished Act 5, so we're on to 6. So, like, 1 and 2 were really long, and then 3 was, like, all story. So you can't really even watch it. It was just like, hey, be here in this area. Citric acid is still an acid, yeah. And these things are literally coated in citric acid. It's kind of intense. Max damage plus 427. Armor plus 87. Yes. Can anyone... you can use this. Yeah, we'll give that to you. Oh! Oh, 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 oh my goodness, whoa. These are the miracles. These are the miracle stones. I was wondering what those were supposed to be. So armor 735, 1068. Cool. He's like a tank now. A hexagonal hammer. Hmm. Really used to that one. Oh. My mouth's just full of sadness. Hexagons are bestagons! And out of sight, I joke that I got my first tattoo when I was in middle school. I stepped on a pencil and it didn't pierce the dermis all the way. Still have a dark spot on my arch to this day. There you go. And it was from that moment that you were hooked. How many tattoos do you have, Beer Fox? Been low-key considering tattoo number 2, but haven't settled on what or where. 2.
It's
Why
good
2?
to see you.
Oh, not getting tattooed, getting a second tattoo. I didn't even know you had a first tattoo. Five pieces, though one was done in 2 parts. Right on. I'm actually gonna... I have so much in terms of, like, money. So many shekels. I don't need to sell anything. So I'm just gonna donate what I have.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
But yeah, can he use that yet? Not yet. Did I just donate that by accident? I think I did. Oops. Oh well. Oh, you have the Pilgrim Cross. Oh, very nice. Donate it all. This game likes to hand out stuff, so, like, whatever. Okay, hold on. Genebath's Skull Basher? That I'm hanging on to. I need to figure out who can use it. Do we use Ishbi Boneb's Great Khopesh or the Skull Basher? I guess the Khopesh has more max damage. Except the hammer does because of its abilities. Yeah, let's go with the hammer. Gonna get an OLG on my right calf and Albertus Magnus on my left. Finish your sleeve. Have an idea for a back piece. Trying to save room for Pilgrim Cross on your forearm. Nice.
Your generosity is appreciated.
Is Albertus Magnus your confirmation saint? Yes, there you go. He's a good choice. Scout the Engedi. I'm almost done with this terrible candy. I really need to find an artist to work with for a tattoo idea I've had for years.
Under David, the Amalekites were ultimately annihilated, as God had commanded of Saul so long ago. David was pleased. With the Philistines subdued and the Amalekites destroyed, David could now seek his vengeance against Moab.
I'll tell you after this cutscene.
David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I take up arms against the Moabites, who so savagely murdered my household?" And the Lord replied, "Long have the Edomites been a burden to the Israelite people. They closed their borders to Moses in the time of Exodus, and have harassed my people since that time. They shall now suffer at your hands."
Here's why you know a bunch of random facts. There you go. Albertus Magnus, pray for us at trivia night.
And so the Lord had spoken. Attack the people of Edom to the southeast. David's fury at the Moabites would have to remain checked while he did as the Lord commanded. David gathered his generals and advisors to discuss a war with the Edomites. Capturing the Edomite city of Aqaba to the south was the primary objective.
The quickest route is through here, the Valley of En-Gedi.
It is sure to be guarded.
Possibly. That is why your sister will be scouting it for us. If the force is small enough, she should be able to clear the pass on her own.
Yeah, if I ever do go to Jerusalem for a pilgrimage, I want to get the
Edomites
pilgrim
will know
tattoo at
we are
Razuk.
marching on them. They will meet us here in the Valley of Salt. En-Gedi is the key. If we can take the pass, we will reach the valley before them and have the advantage.
But that's less a tattoo as like a stylistic choice and more
I have been
with a
watching
spiritual
the
choice.
Edomites
I know
down the
that
valley.
they can overlap for
They
many
are
people, but
careless with their documents and leave valuable information scattered around their camps.
What types of documents?
Troop movements, battle plans, supply line lists, everything. There are some advantageous overlays where you can easily see into
coded.
their camps. I'm sure exploring them would provide you with useful information.
terrible can't. Okay, so my tattoo idea. Whoop, gotta take out these guys. Is it would be in honor of a movement called the White Rose Society.
Edom was located in the southeast of Israel, in the southern part of modern-day Jordan. Edom was also known as Seir.
You know, Jerusalem pilgrimage. That might be interesting, but politically awkward these days is Damascus. Yeah. Yeah, on a street called Straight, still there. But anyway, it would be in honor of the White Rose, which is a nonviolent resistance movement of German students during World War II, so anti-Nazi movement. And they produced these very well-written pamphlets. Well, not pamphlets, but like articles that would be distributed calling upon the German people to repent of their ways.
Esau
Ultimately,
and Jacob were brothers. The Edomites were descendants of Esau. The Israelites were descendants
ultimately
of Jacob.
the members were
Therefore, the
captured
two
and
nations were
executed.
brothers.
One of them is actually a saint in the Russian Orthodox Church now, and a couple others have their cause for canonization open in the Western Church. But so what it would be a white rose, probably just done in like black and white to evoke white, because I know white ink in tattoos is hard.
Alert! Intruder!
And then it would have 6 fallen petals on the ground to represent the members who died, but that the rose lives on. And then there would be a banner with the phrase "Es lebe die Freiheit," which were the final words of Hans Scholl just before he was guillotined, which translates to roughly "Long live freedom." So that's my tattoo idea. Getting it bordered by an artist awards. Oh, cool.
The Edomites refused passage across Edom to the Israelites after their 40 years in the wilderness. This turned them into future enemies.
So, but it would either go on a forearm or on my back. But the problem is, A, I know it'd be expensive, and it's like, And B, I haven't settled on like a final design and would want to work with an artist for pretty closely. You have a serious question. All right, what is it, Calmage?
Who's there?
No one.
You there?
Who, me? The Knights Templar, all their beliefs sound extremely heretical. How are they allowed to get so big and exist for so long? Okay, so I am not an expert in the Knights Templar. I think they were actually founded by a saint, believe it or not. Saint Bernard. I think it's one of those things where human nature is complicated and sinful, and I'm stuck. And you have to remember, in a free internet age, it's much easier for those sort of things to keep existing and kind of have a public-facing reality, but a very different underlying reality, if that makes sense. They were founded by a dog breed. Yeah, and I don't know how much, because, like, I know obviously they get used a lot in media as, like, oh, the secret society that's been running the world. So, like, I honestly don't know a ton to be able to make a statement, but, you know, generally just human beings, we are what we are, and sometimes there are bigger fish to fry, or so it seems. Hey, Heart of Mithril. Can I walk through the water? I can. All right. Boop. Masons originally started as a union, but went to anti-church pretty heavy. Yeah? Did you punch a fish? No, I punched that guy into a fish. That's the wrong map. Well, just take everything and let let other people deal with it. Oh dear, this is a lot of people. Ah, good. It was a lot of people. Modern Knights Templars are just LARPers. But the real type. Height there, promoted Jews, John Baptist, Mary Magdalene were all married. Yeah. But again, imagine a society with, or not even imagine, but just remember a society with much lower literacy. It gets very easy to conflate things and for legends to turn into believed facts. I cannot teleport through rocks. I mean, to kind of draw a parallel, you know, there's the heresy of Arianism, which lasted way longer than you'd expect, well beyond the life of Arius himself, and in fact was supported by different monarchs and church leaders at different times. I will observe this camp even though there's no one in it. Yeah, St. Nicholas did his fair share of good work at the Council of Nicaea. But even, you know, centuries later, it still went on, and in what we would call Christendom, and you're like, isn't this all supposed to... And they think of themselves all as of the one faith. No, I'll not give one iota. That is a good one. Homoiousius.
David had used Engedi as a hideout while avoiding Saul.
I came here to kick heretics and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum. Hello? Yes, please move on to the Valley of Salt.
Edom, the Valley of Salt, due south of the Dead Sea.
Hey, it's the birthplace of the internet.
Ariela's mission through Engedi was a success, and David's army entered the valley before the Edomites.
Get it? Valley
David
of Salt.
introduced his 5 guardians to his newly appointed officer, Uriah, known as the Hittite. Uriah's reputation preceded him, as he was quickly rising up the ranks of David's army.
Well, did we notice what character just got introduced, chat? Little guy named Uriah the Hittite. He has a wonderful wife. Her name is Bathsheba. Let's see how they handle this and where they head with this.
Uriah was known for his ferocity in battle, his loyalty to his commanders and king, as well as his utter devotion to the Lord. He had single-handedly held off hundreds of Philistines during the Battle of Gath.
Are we really going there? I mean, it's part of David's story, and I actually was kind of I want to see how they handle it, but I think it's important to have and discuss,
Joab
like,
has your orders for the battle ahead.
the humanity and fallenness of even great figures like David.
I need you to bypass the enemy lines and capture their command tents.
There will not be pigs this time, will there?
There is no need to sow discord this time, my friend. As you know, the battle is about to begin. Joab and I have devised a stalling tactic that will buy you time to overthrow their command structure.
Yeah, isn't Bathsheba in the VeggieTales episode a rubber ducky?
I would like Uriah to join you on this venture. His spear is mighty and his heart is pure. He will be a valuable resource for you.
Greetings, mighty warriors. I am Remfan. I've received reports of iron weapon stores concealed by the Edomites in preparation for the upcoming battle. It would be a shame if they were to fall into King David's hands, and thus deprive the Edomites of their hidden arsenal.
Oh gosh, that would just be the worst.
The Bible is not clear about which order David defeated the countries surrounding Israel.
I don't know how they're going to handle the conclusion, but I will say I appreciate that they're introducing Uriah as a good soldier in the army and not just like, oh, by the way, he's Bathsheba's wife. Or husband. So we'll see how they handle the whole... Because, like, I've been wondering about how that'll work with the 5. Because surely they would not want to do the whole stepping back and letting Uriah be cut down thing.
I can't do that.
So I'm guessing the fight where that happens is going to happen off screen.
I can't do that.
Hey, bro, I need you to go solo this whole army while your wife and I chill at this palace. That's cool with you, right? I hate how accurate that is, though. I mean, it's not that he said go solo this, but he told everyone else. And everyone else goes with it. They're like, okay, let Uriah solo this?
Can't do that. I can't do that.
But yeah, if I recall correctly from the VeggieTales episode, Uriah manages to walk out of the episode alive. So, not quite accurate, but, you know, it's a children's show.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Everyone else is... Oh, yeah, Uriah is goated. He can handle this. Oh, he didn't handle this. This suspicious like grape-like prophet showed up and said, what you have done has made God very angry.
I can't do that. Can't do that.
I'm getting stuck on the campfire.
I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Oops.
Can't do that.
Oh, it's my ally. I was like, why can't I attack this guy on the ground? He has a health bar next to him. No, that isn't an ally. That's an enemy. Okay, why can I not attack him? Is this a plot thing?
You can't do that.
There's something in Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Remake that I do not like. The original finale is that you're fighting endless Shinra army until Zack dies. I did this for over an hour my first playthrough in Remake. They quickly weaken you so the fight takes less than 3 minutes. Boo! VeggieTales uses the story to teach the lesson about selfishness. Yeah. I mean, again, children.
David struck down 18,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt. The Bible gives us no details about when or how this happened.
Your fiance told you that as kids, her mom used to read the Bible before dinner until they got to the part about Lot's daughters. Then she stopped reading the Bible, and to this day, she still hasn't read the Old Testament. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes people are like... We have this weird relationship to the Bible culturally in America where, like, we generally are like, yeah, it's God's word, it's good, we should read it. And it's like, it's not an instruction manual. Like, there are stories of people screwing up pretty righteously and doing the wrong thing. And, like, there's stories of... There's unhappy endings. There's a lot of humanness in it. And that's what makes it, honestly, so great in many ways. But, like... The Bible is an instruction manual.
Can't do that.
Well, I've been taken out of context in worse ways, I suppose.
I can't do that.
But it's not even just like the Israelites screw up. It's individuals screw up, and sometimes there isn't immediate forgiveness. You know, in many ways, the Bible is, when viewed theologically, is God drawing straight with the crooked lines of human sin. What if the real Israelites are the friends we made along the way? I don't think that quite holds up as a chosen people of God, so...
I can't do that. Can't do that.
Yeah, you hit the first mistake pretty darn close in the beginning there. And even that, like, it's, you know, like, God cares for Adam and Eve. There's a very important part where, you know, they're wearing figs. He gives them leather outfits.
I can't do that.
And he's like, look, I want you guys to do okay out there. But he doesn't just, like, let them stay. The story of Genesis is that the patriarchs and some other people, not just the Israelites, keep doing things they shouldn't do, but God is patient with it. Yeah. And, like, just because a character in the Bible does something doesn't mean we're supposed to do it. Because, like... And there are biblical justifications for certain things, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to deny that. But, like, I remember talking to a fellow seminarian once, and they were like, oh, well... You know, Bible says...
I can't do that.
Bible has guys marrying multiple wives, so should that be allowed? It's like, no! Just because it's a story in the Bible doesn't mean God is giving it his approval. Bible's a better guide to what not to do, well, especially the Old Testament. And certainly in the New Testament, too. Like, there's a reason why Paul wrote all those letters. In a fairy tale, an incomprehensible happiness rests upon the incomprehensible condition. A box is opened and all evil flies out. A word is forgotten and city perishes. A lamp is lit and love flies away. A flower is plucked and human lives are forfeited. An apple is eaten and the hope of God is gone. You don't know a guy who can handle more than one wife. That's fair. So I think we're going to finish up this mission, and that'll be a perfect place to call it for the day. So we just have to subjugate this one last commander, I guess. That Edomite tower shield did not have a tower or a shield, or a tower shield. The awfulness of the Old Testament is what brought you to Catholicism. United Numb Church had awful answers about the atrocities, but they found a video series from Bishop Barron. There you go. See? The answer. And it's... We don't need to explain it away all the time. Still trying to get to the first wife. Well, keep trying, Map Pack. Orthodox priest called Stephen DeYoung has his parish weekly Bible study as a podcast, the whole Council of God. Just finished Genesis, and every time polygamy comes up, he points out directly to the cause of all the problems, especially Jacob's family's dysfunction. That's a great way to put it.
I can't do that.
This has occurred in the Bible, and how did that work out for the characters?
I can't do that.
Yeah, so long as we're here, you know, just...
I can't do that.
Okay, where am I supposed to be going? Okay, that's where. I believe in you, who believes in me. Oops! Accidental Gurren Lagann. Yours is the reference that will pierce the heavens. You should probably watch that one day? No. No, I think you're okay. I don't know why that AutoMod triggered that on the word fellow, not hater. I don't get it. Anyway, we're going to call it there for the day. I think that's a great place to end it. Because if you save in the middle of a mission, you have to restart the whole mission. Also pointed out the first person in the Bible who is said to have multiple wives is presented a very bad man overall. Yeah, Lamech, yeah. Can't wait to see either, Matt Pack. So, anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. Join us again tomorrow for Midweek Minecraft. I think we might do some decorating in the sacristies or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then Thursday, I've decided I want to finish up Battle for the Grid. The single player is 3 acts. Let us play. Cruciferous vegetable partying. Anyway, Battle for the Grid is 3 acts, and we were just starting Act 3, so I'm like, you know what? Let's finish it, and we'll probably just goof around in Battle for the Grid after that. Good to have you here, Hard Mithril. Thank you for being around. Of course, the inability to send links. Yeah, well, I gotta protect from bots because bots are a problem on... If only there was another platform that one could send links to one another on, where you are on multiple servers together. Just a thought. Anyway, so we're going to do more Battle for the Grid on Thursday, and then next week, RPG Monday, more Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. I'm going to send you a smoke signal. I can't see that in the city over the skyline. Spirituality Tuesday, you're going to keep going on 5. More midweek Minecraft, and then retro. I had something in mind. I have it on a document somewhere. We'll figure it out later. But anyway, so thank you so much for everyone for tuning in, liking, subscribing, cheering, all that good jazz. Checking out the Discord. And yeah, so thank you so much. And I'm going to see who's live to throw you on over to. We'll send you on over to Faithy Lou. Raid call is going to be, have I missed the arson yet? Seems a perfectly cromulent sentence to ask her. So, what was I going to say? Anything else? No, I think that's all. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Take care, and God bless.